Hello, welcome to Ephatha. Jesus said, "Be opened." The temptations that the devil presented to Adam, which led to the fall of mankind, and the temptations presented to Jesus, who eventually delivered mankind from the clutches of sin, are similar. Though the circumstances of the temptations were different, the motive of the temptation was the same: to deny God and His Word. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve led a joyous life filled with abundance and marital bliss. The devil tested them in these circumstances, while Jesus was in the wilderness and had been fasting for 40 days. He was hungry and above all lonely, with no companions in the wilderness. He was tested when his human nature was supremely weakened. The temptations faced by the first Adam and the second Adam, Jesus Christ, were indeed similar. They both faced tests related to the sins of the lust of the body, which refers to hedonism, the pride of life, which refers to egoism, and the lust of the eyes, which refers to materialism. Let's examine the parallels between the temptations faced by the first Adam and the second Adam, Jesus Christ. Temptations of the body. This temptation relates to the immediate satisfaction of bodily desires. When Adam and Eve were persuaded to eat the fruit, they desired to fulfill their bodily urge of hunger. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave some to her husband, and he ate. Genesis chapter 3 verse 6. After Jesus had been fasting for 40 days and was hungry, the devil asked Jesus to turn stones into bread. But Jesus replies, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." Matthew chapter 4 verse 4. Here, Jesus emphasizes that our life is sustained not just by bread, but by God. The temptation of materialism refers to the desire for possessions and wealth, leading to greed and envy. This can result in a sense of emptiness, as material possessions cannot ultimately fulfill our deeper spiritual needs. Adam and Eve were also tempted by materialism, as Genesis 3:6 indicates that the fruit was a delight to the eyes and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise. This temptation highlights their desire for something that appears visually and existentially appealing. Similarly, the devil takes Jesus to a very high mountain, shows him all the glory of the kingdoms, and offers them to Jesus if he'll bow down and worship him. Instead, Jesus replies, "It is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." The temptation of egoism, also known as the pride of life, involves an individual's desire for recognition, power, and personal glory. The temptation of egoism is evident when the devil promises that eating the forbidden fruit will make Adam and Eve like God, knowing good and evil. This appeal to the desire for wisdom and equality with God is a direct challenge to the humility and obedience. Genesis chapter 3 verse 4 to 5. But the serpent said to the woman, "You will not die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." In the temptation of Jesus, the devil also appeals to egoism by taking Jesus to the pinnacle of the temple and urging him to throw himself down, suggesting that the angels will save him, thus proving his divinity and gaining public acclaim. Here, Satan tempts Jesus to demonstrate his divine power spectacularly, appealing to a potential desire for public validation and acclaim. However, Jesus resists this temptation, affirming his commitment to God's will and plan rather than seeking personal glory. Jesus says, "Again it is written, you shall not tempt the Lord your God." The lust of the body affects our bodies and feelings. The pride of life affects our desires, and the lust of the eyes affects our thoughts. This is why Jesus proclaims that the greatest commandment of all is to love your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Matthew chapter 22 verse 37. The heart mind, and soul encompass the entirety of a person's being and capacities. Thus, we are to love God with every aspect of our being, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Thank you everyone for listening, and you can watch similar videos on Ephatha Catholic YouTube channel.